The journey from book to screen is always a fascinating one, especially when the source material is as complex and impactful as Liu Cixin's The Three-Body Problem. As China's most internationally renowned science fiction novel, its adaptation into a Netflix series has ignited global interest, but also sparked important discussions, especially about cultural representation, historical sensitivity, and the rapidly evolving landscape of Chinese sci-fi. Let's start by exploring the significance of The Three-Body Problem. Originally published in 2008, the novel was groundbreaking for Chinese science fiction, weaving together complex astrophysics, philosophical dilemmas, and the fraught legacy of China's Cultural Revolution. The novel's premise centers on humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, the Trisolarans, whose home planet orbits an unstable three-star system, setting the stage for a cosmic drama that stretches across centuries and civilizations. When Netflix announced its adaptation, produced by the acclaimed creators of Game of Thrones, anticipation soared. The series promised to bring global attention to Liu Cixin's epic vision, but quickly revealed the challenges inherent in translating a distinctly Chinese story for a worldwide audience. One of the most discussed aspects was the depiction of the Cultural Revolution, a period marked by political upheaval, violence, and deep social trauma. For many Chinese viewers, this segment isn't just a narrative backdrop, it's a sensitive chapter in collective memory. As the series aired, some praised its willingness to tackle this controversial history, while others voiced concerns about accuracy and the risk of oversimplification, especially with an international cast that sometimes seemed detached from the cultural context. This debate highlights a broader issue in global science fiction, the balance between authenticity and accessibility. Science fiction, by its nature, often deals with universal questions: what it means to be human, how societies respond to the unknown, and the ethical dilemmas posed by technology and contact with alien life. Yet the lens through which these stories are told is shaped by culture, language, and history. The Three-Body Problem is deeply rooted in Chinese intellectual traditions and historical experience, and any adaptation must grapple with how to honor those origins while inviting new audiences into its world. The Netflix series isn't the only recent landmark in Chinese sci-fi. In 2019, The Wandering Earth, a film adapted from another Liu Cixin novella, became a box office sensation. Grossing over 3.66 billion yuan, it was the second highest grossing film in China's history at the time, and signaled a dramatic shift in the domestic film industry. The movie's success wasn't just about special effects or blockbuster spectacle. It demonstrated that Chinese audiences were hungry for stories that combined cutting-edge science, imaginative world-building, and reflections on their own societal challenges. This resurgence extends beyond film. Chinese sci-fi literature is one of the fastest-growing genres in the country's online publishing platforms, with new voices and fresh ideas emerging every year. Writers are increasingly exploring themes that range from cosmic exploration to artificial intelligence, environmental collapse, and the philosophical implications of technological progress. The genre's popularity is fueled by a population that's both technologically savvy and attuned to rapid social change, making science fiction a natural outlet for both hope and anxiety about the future. Yet, with growth comes complexity. Chinese science fiction operates in a unique environment where creative expression is often shaped by governmental oversight. Censorship remains a challenge, especially when stories touch on sensitive historical or political topics. The Three-Body Problem, for instance, has been subject to scrutiny not only for its portrayal of the Cultural Revolution, but also for its broader philosophical questions about the survival of civilization, the morality of collective action, and the possibility of coexistence with truly alien minds. These themes can be provocative, even unsettling, in a society where public discourse is carefully monitored. The tension between creative freedom and political sensitivity is not unique to China, but it is particularly pronounced in a genre that thrives on imagining alternative futures. As Chinese sci-fi steps into the international spotlight, writers, filmmakers and audiences are negotiating the boundaries of what can be said and how it can be said. This negotiation is visible not just in the stories themselves, but in the way they are received, debated, and sometimes contested. At the same time, Chinese science fiction is influencing the global conversation. The success of The Wandering Earth and the adaptation of The Three-Body Problem have encouraged more collaborations between Chinese and international creators. These projects are helping to break down stereotypes and expand the diversity of voices in a genre that has too often been dominated by Western perspectives. They show that stories about space, technology, and the future can be both universal and locally resonant, reflecting the hopes, fears, and histories of different societies. For viewers and readers outside China, this moment offers an invitation to engage with new ideas and unfamiliar contexts. The questions raised by The Three-Body Problem, about the nature of civilization, the ethics of survival, and the limits of human understanding, are relevant to everyone. But the answers, and the ways those questions are asked, are shaped by the experiences and histories of those who tell them. Ultimately, the adaptation of The Three-Body Problem and the rise of Chinese sci-fi mark a turning point in how we think about stories of space and the unknown. They remind us that science fiction is more than just entertainment. It's a way of grappling with the deepest challenges of our time and imagining what might come next. As Chinese creators continue to push the boundaries of the genre, the world is watching and learning. Looking forward, the evolution of Chinese science fiction will be shaped by several key factors. First, the ongoing dialogue between creators and audiences, both in China and globally, will influence which stories are told and how they are received. Second, the development of new technologies and platforms will open up possibilities for even more ambitious storytelling, from immersive virtual worlds to interactive narratives. And third, the broader social and political context will continue to shape the boundaries of creative expression, sometimes in unpredictable ways. For fans of science fiction, these developments are exciting. They offer a chance to discover new worlds, encounter unfamiliar perspectives, and reflect on the shared challenges of humanity. Whether through novels, films, or streaming series, the stories coming out of China today are reshaping the future of the genre and inviting us all to think more deeply about our place in the universe. In summary, the journey from book to screen for The Three-Body Problem is about much more than adaptation. It's about the globalization of science fiction, the negotiation of cultural memory, and the emergence of new voices in a rapidly changing world. For anyone interested in space-set sci-fi, the ongoing evolution of Chinese science fiction is a story worth following, full of complexity, creativity, and the promise of cosmic wonder.